Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Jaya Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are discussing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. We are studying Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And today we'll be discussing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Canto 2, Chapter 4. And we're going to try to cover verse 3 and 4. Thank you, Prabhuji. Papricha chemamevartham yanmam prichata sattamaha Krishnānubhava shravane shraddhadhano mahā-manāḥ samstham vijñāya sannyasa karma traivargikam chayat vasudeve bhagavati atmabhavam hridam gataha. Word translation. Papricha, asked. Cha, also. Imam, this. Eva, exactly like. Artham, purpose. Yat, that. Mam, unto me. Prichitha, you are asking. Saptamaha, O great sages. Krishna Anubhava, wrapped in thought of Krishna. Shravane, in hearing. Shraddhadhanaha, full of faith. Mahā-manāḥ, the great soul. Samstham, death. Vijñāya, being informed. Sannyasa, renouncing. Karma, fruitive activities. Traivargikam, the three principles, religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Cha, also. Yet, what it may be. Vasudeve, unto Lord Kṛṣṇa. Bhagavati, the personality of Godhead. Atmabhavam, attraction of love. Dridham, firmly fixed. Gataha, achieved. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. O great sages, the great soul Mahārāja Parīkṣit, constantly wrapped in the thought of Lord Kṛṣṇa, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sorts of fruitive activities, namely acts of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna and asked all these questions exactly as you are asking me. Purport. The three activities of religion, economic development, and sense gratification are generally attractive for the conditioned souls struggling for existence in the material world. Such regulated activities prescribed in the Vedas are called the karma kandiya conception of life, and householders are generally recommended to follow the rules just to enjoy material prosperity both in this life and in the next. Most people are attracted by such activities. Even in the activities of their modern godless civilization, people are more concerned with economic development and sense gratification without any religious sentiments. As a great emperor of the world, Mahārāja Parīkṣit had to observe such regulations of the Vedic Karma Kandiya section. But by his slight association with Shukdev Goswami, he could perfectly understand that Lord Kṛṣṇa, the absolute personality of Godhead Vasudeva, for whom he had natural love since his birth, is everything. And thus he fixed his mind firmly upon him, renouncing all modes of Vedic Karma Kandiya activities. This perfection stage is attained by a jnāni after many, many births. The jnāni, or the empiric philosophers endeavoring for liberation, are thousands of times better than the fruitive workers And out of hundreds of thousands of such jnanis, one is liberated factually. One is liberated factually. And out of hundreds of thousands of such liberated persons, even one person is rarely found who can firmly fix his mind onto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, as declared by Lord Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita 7:19. Mahārāja Parīkṣit is specially qualified with the word mahā-manāḥ, which puts him on the equal level of the Mahātmās described in Bhagavad Gita. In the later stage also, there have been many Mahātmās of this type, and they also give up all karma-kandiya conceptions of life solely and wholly depending on Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Lord Caitanya, who is Lord Krishna himself, taught us in his Shikshashtaka 8. Ashlishyava padaratam pinastumam adarshanan marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidhato lampato mat prananathastu saiva naparah. Lord Krishna, who is the lover of many devotees, women, may embrace his fully surrendered maid servant or may trample me with his feet, and he may render me broken-hearted by not being present before me for a long duration of time, but still he is nothing less than the absolute Lord in my heart. Srila Rupa Goswami spoke thus, Vichrachyamai dandam dīnabandho dayami vaha gatir iha bhavattah kachid anya mamasti nipattu shatakoti nirbharam vanavambaha tad api kilapayodah stuyate chatakena. O Lord of the poor, do what you like with me. Give me either mercy or punishment. But in the world, I have none to look to accept, none to look to except your lordship. The Chataka bird always prays for the cloud, regardless of whether it shows rains or throws a thunderbolt. Srila Madhavendra Puri, the grand spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, took leave from all karma kandiya obligations in the following words. Sandhya vandana bhadramastu bhavato Bho snānatubhyam namo Bho devah pitrascha tarpana vidho Nāham shama shamyatam Yatra kvapi nishadya yadavakulot Tamasyakam sadvisha Smaram smaram agham harami tad alam Manye kim anyena me. O my evening prayer, all good unto you. O my morning bath, I bid you goodbye. O demigods and forefathers, please excuse me. I'm unable to perform any more offerings for your pleasure. Now I have decided to free myself from all reactions to sins simply by remembering anywhere and everywhere the great descendant of Yadu and the great enemy of Kamsa, Lord Krishna. I think that this is sufficient for me. So what is the use of further endeavors? Srila Madhavendra Puri said further, Muktam mam nigadantu niti nipunaha Bhrantam muhurvaidika Mandam bandhva sanchaya jadadhiyam Muktadaraha sodaraha Unmattam dhanino viveka chaturaha Kamam mahadambhikam Moktum na shamate managapi manoho Govinda Padaspraham. Let the sharp moralist accuse me of being illusioned. I do not mind. Expert in Vedic activities may slander me as being misled. Friends and relatives may call me frustrated. My brothers may call me a fool, and the wealthy Maimonides may point me out as mad. And the learned philosopher may assert that I am much too proud. Still my mind does not budge an inch from the determination to serve the lotus feet of Govinda. though I may be unable to do it. And also, Prahlad Maharaj said, Dharmartha kama iti yo bhihitastrivarga ikshatrayi damo vividha cha varta manye tadetadakhilam nigamasya satyam swatmarpanam swasuhrida paramasya pumshaha. Religion, economic development, and sanctification are celebrated as the three means of attaining the path of salvation. Of these, ikshatra, especially that is knowledge of self, knowledge of fruitive acts, and logic, and also politics and economics are different means of livelihood. All these are different subjects of Vedic education, and therefore I consider them temporary engagements. On the other hand, surrendering unto the Supreme Lord Vishnu is a factual gain in life, and I consider it as the ultimate truth. The whole matter is concluded in Bhagavad Gita as Vyavasaitma Atmika Buddhir, or the absolute path of perfection. Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan, a great Vaishnava scholar, defines this as Bhagavat Archana Rupaika Nishkama Karma Bhir Vishuddha Chitta, accepting transcendental loving service to the Lord as a prime duty, free from fruitive reaction. So Mahārāja Parīkṣit was perfectly right when he firmly accepted the lotus feet of Lord Kṛṣṇa, renouncing all karma, kandiya, conception of life. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayed nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. So it's such a beautiful verse and purport today. It's a very long purport as well. So we're going to try to cover as much as we can. So the first part of the verse and the purport describes how, firstly, how in this verse Suta Goswami is actually addressing the sages of Naimisharanya, that Mahārāja Parīkṣit, constantly wrapped in thought of Krishna and being aware of his imminent death, he renounced all sorts of fruitive activities. So there are 4 Puruṣārthas that we are aware about, which is our Puruṣārthas for achieving salvation, and these are dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So these 4 Puruṣārthas, these steps are meant for elevating the consciousness of human being. And these 4 Puruṣārthas are like steps. They are like steps of a staircase. So the way we climb the staircase is, first we have to take the first step, which is in this case will be dharma. And then next is artha. So if one does dharma properly, then the artha or economic prosperity will automatically follow. And then once one attains artha, then one has the resources or credits to do sense enjoyment or kama. And then after getting frustrated from kama, one focuses on the purpose of life and aims for the final step, which is moksha or liberation, where one tries to nullify all the karmas, good or bad. So people who follow this path of the karma kanda, path of the Vedas, are called karmakandis. But Prabhupada explains that how these 4 processes of dharma, artha, kama, moksha are like steps. On the other hand, this path of bhakti yoga, Prabhupada says, is not like a staircase, it's like an elevator. And once we are in the elevator, there is no more need to take the first step, second step, and the third step of dharma, artha, and kama. Just by getting into the elevator, just by knowing that there is an elevator that takes me to the higher destination. First, the understanding there is a higher destination. That's why one enters into the elevator. To enter the elevator, one needs to know the goal. So even if just one knows this goal and enters the elevator, he's kind of already attained the stage of moksha or liberation, which is all his karmas are nullified. And then once the elevator progresses, it goes even to the higher destination than moksha, which is pure love for Krishna, which is uninterrupted, unmotivated devotional service to Krishna. As Bhagavatam says, Tabai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir athokshajer ahetuki apratihata yayatma stu prasidati. So what is one can attain through this lift is yato bhaktir adhokshaje, pure devotional service to Krishna. And then the verse and the translation further describes the analogy between Parīkṣit Mahārāja and the sages. So in the translation it is mentioned, Parīkṣit Mahārāja being completely absorbed in Krishna renounced all these fruitive activities and asked all these questions, just like how the sages have been asking questions to Suta Goswami. So Suta Goswami is trying to make this relatable to the sages. Is drawing this parallel, just like how Parīkṣit Mahārāja renouncing everything is asking questions to Shukdev Goswami. Similarly, you are also asking these questions. And why there is a parallel? Because Mahārāja Parīkṣit, being a grasta, was following these four Puruṣārthas of dharma, artha, and kama, being a king also. But once he knew about his imminent death, he put all his attention into the supreme occupation, paro dharmo, which is understanding about Krishna, which is rendering devotional service to Krishna. Similarly, what Suta Goswami is saying, that the sages of Naimisharanya, they're already in the renounced order of life. Most of them are sannyasis, they are renounced, and they're not interested, similar to Mahārāja Parīkṣit, in dharma, artha, and kama. And that's why they're in a very similar situation to Mahārāja Parīkṣit. So he's basically inspiring them and trying to make the content relatable, so that just how Mahārāja Parīkṣit surrendered everything and focused his attention rapidly on Krishna, he's encouraging the sages also to focus their attention just on Krishna. In the next part of the purport, Mahārāja Parīkṣit is described as a Mahātmā. So in the purport towards the end, Prabhupada also put the reference to the verse 719, which says, Bahunam janmanam ante jñānan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarva iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. So the translation goes like, one which after many, many births, one who actually is in knowledge, surrenders to Krishna, knowing Krishna to be the cause of all causes. And such soul is very rare. So Suta Goswami is drawing a parallel between Mahārāja Parīkṣit and the Mahātmās mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So a person, after many, many of births, who surrenders his dharma, artha, and kama, and moksha, and surrenders to Krishna, that soul is a Mahātmā, and that soul is very rare. How rare? And firstly, why does a Mahātmā surrenders to Krishna? So it is explained in the purport of this verse 790 that Prabhupada has quoted in this translation, in this purport today, that the Chandogya Upanishad mentions that in the body of a living being, there are so many powers. There is a power to speak, there is power to hear, there is power to think, and all these are great powers. But none of them is the prime power. None of them is the prime factor. What is the prime factor? The presence of soul inside the body first is needed. The consciousness is needed. The presence of soul is needed. That's the prime factor. Because if the consciousness is not there, what's the use of power to speak or power to hear or power to see? They are worthless. Similarly, there are so many things in the world. There are so many entities. There are so many things. There are so many activities. But in that, Lord Kṛṣṇa is the prime enter, the prime factor in everything. So just like a body is useless, a power to speak is useless, power to see is useless, power to hear is useless until a soul is present in the body. Similarly, all the entities in this creation, all the processes, all the activities are useless if they are not connected to the to Kṛṣṇa, who is the essence in everything. Because Kṛṣṇa is all pervading in everything as Vasudeva. And a devotee who understands this, that Kṛṣṇa is the fabric on which everything is lying, that devotee who in this knowledge surrenders everything to Krishna. So we need this knowledge that Krishna is in everything. And in today's purport, the progression of human being is described. At first, a person follows these four Puruṣārthas, dharma, artha, kama, being a karma kandi, following the karma kanda path of Vedas. And after being frustrated in the enjoyment and the renunciation, one decides after many, many births to renounce all these activities. And after many, many births of practicing this renunciation, 1 in 1,000 of those people actually becomes a jnāni. And out of 100 of thousands of those jñānis, one actually becomes successful and becomes liberated, attains the mokṣa. And out of hundreds and thousands of people who attain that mokṣa, only one can firmly fix the mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, which is bhakti. So what this is showing is that bhakti, firstly, jnāna is higher than karma, and then bhakti is even higher than jnāna. Jnāna is rarer than karma, and bhakti is even very rare than even jnāna. So eventually, bhakti is very rare. So whatever we have got in this process of Krishna consciousness, this bhakti, whatever we got from Prabhupada, this is very, very rare. And then it's described that Mahārāja Parīkṣit is one of such Mahātmās. Because now he's surrendering all these four processes and focusing attention completely on Krishna. On a similar theme, I was hearing a class by my Guru Maharaj, and he was on a similar theme sharing this story of in Caitanya Charitamrita of a man meeting an astrologer. So a man once meets an astrologer. An astrologer tells this man that, oh, your father left you great wealth, but your father somehow died in a foreign land, and therefore he couldn't tell you where the wealth was hidden. And then he tells him that, but if you carefully search for it, you might as well find it. But you have to follow these instructions. So he started the instructions by saying, if you dig to the top, you will find big black snake. If you dig towards the south, you will find wasps and drones. If you dig towards the west, you will find ghost which will possess you. And then if you dig to the east, that's where you will find your goal, which is pure devotional service. So you must carefully dig towards the east to find this treasure. And in the purport of this narrative, it is described that if one digs towards the north, one finds a big black snake. So this black snake is referred to as mystic power. So mystic power is so dangerous that if we try to possess it, or if we actually attain it, it will devour us. How it will devour us? In what sense? So if we go towards mystic power or attain it, we will lose the sight of our goal, which is pure devotional service. And mystic power is so it will be so bewildering that it will make us feel that it is actually the real goal we were always searching for, not devotional service. And then it will bewilder us, and it will again take our sight away from the real goal for eternity. And then once we get the mystic power, which is not connected to Krishna, we are in one sense in directly competition with Krishna. We are trying to be envious of Krishna by trying to be becoming like him. And then in that way, we will lose all our credits. And in this way, this big black snake of mystic power can devour us if we dig towards the north. Similarly, if we go towards the south, there is so much demigod worships that's prevalent. There's so much karma kanda happening in the south. And the karma kandas are described as the wasps and the drones that will sting us. And if we go towards the west, there is impersonalism. And this impersonalism will possess us like a ghost. And in that stage, if we go towards impersonalism and we attain it, even if one hears about Krishna, one will no longer have faith in Krishna.
Prabhu is right there.
So this impersonalism, attaining this impersonalism actually destroys our faith. But if we dig down towards the east, we will attain the real treasure, which is the path of pure devotional service. And that is the real wealth. That is the Devi Sampad. That is the spiritual wealth that we all need to aspire for. And after this, the purport described many, many wonderful verses quoted by Srila Prabhupada, the beautiful verses from Rupa Goswami, there is verses from Madhvendra Puri. Actually, Rupa Goswami says very, very wonderful words in a very similar theme. He says, Atartha arthe khila chestitam yatha pancharatre laukiki vaidiki vapi ya kriya kriyate mune. He says that whether we are performing the Vedic system or Varnashrama of the Laukic system, simply perform whatever is practical, whatever is auspicious for the service of the Lord. That is acceptable. That is the higher principle. So it is not said that we should leave this dharma, artha, or kama. It is said that if it is in line, this occupation is in line with the supreme occupation, which is Krishna consciousness, it is supporting our Krishna consciousness, then yes, we should perform them. But in any way, if this dharma, artha, or kama, or moksha, if it is trying to take us away from Krishna, we should renounce it immediately. That is the essence of these instructions by Rupa Goswami. Then there is also emphasis on association of pure devotee emphasized in this verse today. In the purport, it is mentioned that Mahārāja Parīkṣit, being a king, was also following these regulations of Karma Kanda, but by slight association of Shukdev Goswami, he could perfectly understand that Krishna is the absolute personality of Godhead, from whom he had natural love since birth, and then he should firmly fix his mind on Krishna. And then once he decided that, he renounced all the Vedic Karma Kandiya activities. This is the power of association of a pure devotees. And on this, we have heard this verse from Caitanya Charitamrita a lot of times, but we'll repeat that. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kaya, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Haya. So the verdict of all the scriptures is that even by a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all the success. So what are we doing? We are associating with Srila Prabhupada by reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and this association can deliver us from the miseries or the pains we have suffered in all these multiple lifetimes we have taken birth in, and actually take us to the real goal of life. And then it is also mentioned that Parīkṣit Maharaj was able to understand Krishna, from whom he had natural love since birth. So similarly, Rupa Goswami mentions in Nectar of Instruction that recently quoted by His Grace Bhagavatam Prabhu as well. Nitya Siddhya Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabhunaya Shravanadhi Shuddha Chitte Karaye Udaya. And the translation goes like, the pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of all the living entities. It is not something that is gained from another source. And when this heart, which has a lot of this dust through Cheto Darpanam Marjanam, when this heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love for Krishna naturally awakens. So we already have it, it just awakens. Just like it got awakened from Mahārāja Parīkṣit. He had this love since birth, but he had to follow his duties of being a king, being a grasta, being a father, being a son. But as soon as he knew about his imminent death and he had association of a pure devotee, he left everything and went towards the supreme occupation. Similarly, we also have love for Krishna from eternity. It's not something that's gained from outside, but as soon as we get association of pure devotee, then and as soon as by hearing and chanting, we can clean the dust of our heart, we will remember that love, and then we will go towards the real purpose of life. And the next section of the purports, there were verses mentioned by Mahaprabhu on Shikshashtakam, Rupa Goswami on as well, and Madhvendra Puri as well. And the theme of those verses were predominantly around surrender to Krishna and no one else. And on this, there is a very sweet bhajan written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur called Manasa Deha Geha. And we're going to just quickly go through some of the verses of this beautiful bhajan. So one of the verse number 3 goes like, मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तुहार नित्या दासा प्रति तुआ अधिकार. The translation goes like, slay me or protect me as you wish. You are the master and I am your eternal servant. Do whatever you want. Just like how Mahaprabhu is saying in Shikshastakam as well. Whether you come before me or you disappear before me, you're still my Lord of my heart. The next verse says, Janmo bhi moe ichha jadi tor bhakta grihe jani janma ho more. The translation goes like, if it is your will that I be born again, then maybe it may be at the home of your devotee. So, devotees are always focusing on, oh, Krishna consciousness, going back to Godhead, going back to Godhead. Yes, that's the aim we start with. But when our love becomes really pure, we surrender. We're not even asking for going back to Godhead. What we're asking is, Lord, whatever's your wish, whether you take me back to Godhead or you keep me here, it's your wish. But if I am born here by chance, if that's your will, may I be born in a family of a devotee so that I am cultivated in Krishna consciousness from the very start and not get distracted. Focus on the real purpose of life from the very start. So this is what a pure devotee prays like to Krishna, that whatever's your will, but please, if I have to be born here, let me be born in a family of a devotee. And the next verse goes like, Chitta janma ho jatha tu vadas bahir mukha brahma janme nahi ash. So he's saying, if I have to born, maybe I be born even as a worm, but as long as I remain your devotee, I'm happy to be even born as a worm as long as I'm your devotee. But even if you give me a position, or if I don't have this devotion in me, I don't even we want to be born as a position of a Brahma. So Brahma is the topmost living entity. He's the first living entity. He has created the secondary creation. And then he's saying, I don't want this powerful position of Brahma if that Brahma is averse to you. I might even be born as a worm if that worm is a devotee of you. So that's the prayer of the devotee. The next verse goes like, Bhukti mukti spriha vihina je bhakta labhaite tako sanganurata. And he's saying, I yearn for the company of that devotee who is completely devoid of all desires for worldly enjoyment and liberation. So we all should yearn for that kind of devotees who have complete surrender to Krishna and nothing else. Because by this way, that desire, that love for Krishna will rub onto us as well. We will appreciate that quality of that devotee, and then this way we will awaken our dormant love for Krishna as well. And this is what's happening with Shukdev Goswami. Just by association with a devotee like that, this is happening with Parīkṣit Maharaj. Just by association with a pure devotee like Shukdev Goswami, his love for Krishna has awakened and he has renounced all the fruitive activities. And that's what we want as well. Next verse goes like, Janaka Janani Daita Tanaye Prabhu Guru Pati Tuhu Sarvamoe. Father, mother, lover, son, Lord, preceptor, and husband, you are everything to me. So this is complete surrender to Krishna. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. There is only Vasudeva, nothing else. And surrender all other religions. Sarva Dharma Parityaja. This is complete surrender to Krishna. And in the last verse, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Bhakti Vinoda kohe shuno kana Radha Natha tuhu Hamara Paranam. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, "Oh Kana, please hear me. Oh Lord of Radha, you are my life and soul." Again, showing complete surrender. So once we know the real purpose of life, we're following this path of devotional service. Then we know that even if we are following this path, we cannot attain enough from our own ability. We need mercy of the Lord. We need mercy of the devotees. So this is a prayer to the Lord that you are my life and soul, Lord. Do whatever you want to do with me. So I'll stop here and ask devotees. Sorry if this got a bit over time. So I'll ask devotees if they have any questions or comments or realizations they would want to share. Hare Krishna. Any last thoughts or comments? All good. Thank you, devotees, for joining today. Grantraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Have a wonderful Krishna conscious day, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'll close the class now, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.